Hey everybody, good morning. Perrin Lovett here, back for the Prepper Post News, courtesy of Freedom Prepper, on Thursday, February 25th, 2021. Yes, it's already 2 months after Christmas 2020. Hello to everybody at YouTube, FP Community, and everybody listening to the podcast. Podcast folks, I'm not sure, I don't think we can do links, but do check at the website or on YouTube because I'm going to go straight into talking about the all the new and exciting fun things happening with Freedom Roasters Coffee. As you guys know, Freedom Prepper does not charge. We are not a subscription service. We do occasionally sell things. We're opening a store. I'm going to get to that shortly, but mainly we rely on your generosity, and especially with your purchases of Freedom Roasters Coffee, which is just taking off, and I think this year is going to become the driving force. Like I've said, I think this is eventually going to be a coffee company with a prepper division, and I'm serious. I've talked to Scott. I'd like to move up to HQ and get my hands dirty in the beans. Not that our not that our beans are dirty, I'll sweep up or something. I'll clean the roaster and maybe expand upon this show. And there are some more great announcements coming. But let me just talk about what's new at Freedom Roasters. And this, I should have mentioned this yesterday. This came about. The big changes came in on Monday, Tuesday night. Recently, I'm going to go over to Freedom Roasters Coffee. That's freedom-roasters-coffee.myshopify.com. It's linked up everywhere, and we have we have, I think we still have some outside ads that appear here and there, very few. This is the big thing that we sell. I'm not on here telling you the world's ending, and please buy my patented water filters, but do buy some coffee because it's good coffee. I had a discussion with somebody, with a customer via email. So you go to the website, and we're going to be making a few more changes, adding things. Up at the top, you've got, of course, the home page, the catalog of the 4 different brew strengths that, you've got dark roast and medium right here. I've talked about those, drank them on set before. Got recipes. That's a special. I don't really contribute to that because my coffee recipe is coffee and sometimes more coffee. But got some great recipes. Back on the different blends, let me just select, because I like it so much, dark roast. Learn more. You click learn more, and I've got a still photograph we can put up of what I'm about to do. There's the dark roast coffee in the bag. You've got your how you can order. You can get whole bean. There's a little click down menu, whole bean or ground. We'll send it to you whole and roasted or roasted and ground. The new thing, the really cool thing is the K-Pods are here. The K-Pods have been around. We've been experimenting. Scott has finally found the right, pod making company. There are pods now, and they come in a nice little box of 24. So in high demand right now, I don't have them to show you. Hint, hint, Scott, for the promotion. I got a Keurig somewhere in the studio. It's an old Keurig, but I like my coffee by the gallon. But people love the pods, and we're listening. So you select the pods, and then you've got the option to do a one-time purchase. We'll fresh roast the coffee, pot it up for you, just like the bags, ship it out. Or you can subscribe and save. And it's really cool. You can set up let's see what we got here. You can set up a schedule where this stuff will be delivered to you based on how much coffee you run through. You can get 1 week's worth, 2 weeks, 4 weeks. I think more options are going to be, we just had the conversation and I've forgotten half of it. But I've got the graphic up. You can kind of see how easy that is. You got a little picture of the the box, little eco-friendly, I guess, cardboard box that the 24 pods come in, and save a little money and make it easier on yourself. Somebody asked me, why is this better than the stuff I can buy at the store? Well, one, I don't know what stuff you buy at what store, but it's generally better than most of your commercial coffee blends for several reasons. One, the beans. We're using Arabica beans. The last batch that I looked at a distance were from grown in Colombia. These are some of the better beans, imported through a coffee bean importer located in the Northeast. We selected, or Scott selected, from, I think it's 48 or 50 available beans. The best of the best on a budget. There are coffee beans that are like $40 a pound. We're not messing with those yet. The second thing is the roasting process. These, if you buy XYZ brand off the shelf, it may have been sitting on the shelf or somebody else's shelf for 6 months. You don't know. Ours is roasted fresh for you, shipped out, not instantly, but in a much shorter time frame. And the roaster itself, the big coffee crafter, what is it? It's an XE model, very high dollar, very precise machine. We can adjust the roasting time, and it's I believe it's like an old popcorn popper. It's air driven. It really does a good job, and that's the end product is why it's better. It just tastes better. The way I described it to somebody in an email, it tastes better than Starbucks, and it's not run by communists. So check that out. And the store, we've got things coming, not just coffee related. We are gonna eventually get our own line of EDC equipment, and the notes. Some few of you may remember the notes. They're going to make an expanded comeback in due time. We got a lot of stuff working. Now shifting over to the news. Sorry, it was a little promo break. This is like episode 90, getting close to 100 newscasts here with me or the robot reading. So we need to plug for order 5 bags or 100 pods, or 500 bags and pods. Just order. You've got money, spend it. You've got money, but maybe not for long, because I got 2 stories about the economy. I'm going to take the second one first. Jay Powell. Everything is improving. The economy is. Jay Powell, Jerome Powell, is the chairman of the private foreign-owned central bank, the Federal Reserve. He says everything is getting better. It's like the pandemic-induced, lockdown, recession never happened. But we're going to keep pumping out $120 billion a month in Treasury bond purchases. This is above and beyond what they're doing with direct payments or with the repo market. I don't know if they're still reporting those numbers. I just lost track of them. There's only so many tens of trillions of dollars in fake money my mind can comprehend. I broke the zero button on my calculator. But, more and more and more fake debt that your great-grandkids will be expected to slave away to pay for is a good sign. It's also a good sign that when your kids are slaving away, they'll be paid in digital dollars. I keep writing and talking about this. Jay Powell's counterpart at Treasury, the former head of the Federal Reserve, Janet Yellen, Aunt Yellen, wants to take everything you own, and she wants to completely and totally control your life. I've got the latest story. She's pushing towards a digital dollar, and she gives all kind of reasons, like it's safe. Viruses don't live in ones and zeros in a computer, and it brings equity. People that the law and the banks shut out of the law and the banks will somehow magically have access to these digital dollars. Totally unaccountable. It's going to be cloud-based. Remember back when things were uncertain, I said, make sure you back up all your cloud-based data, because data doesn't live up in the clouds. It's just on somebody else's computer. And that means with the flip of a switch, by accident or on purpose, they can delete whatever you have. Well, this is doing that with your money, having your money exclusively in somebody else's computer where they can just flip a switch. Oops, we destroyed the entire economy. Whoops, we're intentionally destroying the economy. We're seizing all of your money, and there's nothing you can do about it, and they can track everything, and it will just be awful. And these people, they don't hide. She says it makes sense for central banks to be looking at issuing sovereign digital currencies. Private, criminal, foreign-owned central banks issuing sovereign currencies. Private criminals taking over the job of the sovereign states. It's coming. It's going to be horrible, and I guess gold and silver and bartering are the answer. More in big business, big banking, big business, they're all in favor of it. The National Chamber of Commerce is everybody's pushing this. All of the usual suspects are pushing this, and so many people that get caught up in these things and they get duped. They'll fall for the safety lines. They'll fall for it's just protecting the little people. Yeah. Much the same way that the burglar protects you when he breaks into your house at night. Except this will be in a computer somewhere far away. You won't notice it until you can't buy something. But let's see what else Big Biz is doing. I got an amalgam of stories here about big business, big education, and big conservative, God-fearing conservative Republicans hating big. And a lot of this centers on anti-white racism, which is, if you don't know, all the rage. It's more of the divide and conquer strategy, and it's funny, while they're hating on us, they always lump in everybody else because it's like a totem pole of the different identities, and we slide up and down it, and the point is, we may be at the top, we may be at the bottom. They hate us all. The color of your skin does not dictate, how they're going to flip the switch to take your money and enslave your grandchildren. But let's see what we got here. Coca-Cola. I'm done with Coca-Cola because they're apparently done with me. They had a training session for employees, and they had a diversity and inclusion seminar, like all big companies and small companies too. A lot of this stuff, they can call it what they want to. It's anti-white, anti-Christian, anti-civilizational. And there's photo proof to back this up that got leaked out. This is a story I found at The Sun, the U.S. version of The Sun. Now, in their defense, they say, hey, this stuff was off on a recommended side channel. We were pushing it, but, we weren't really pushing it. Buy our products, no more. Photos of Coca-Cola's online training seminar were shared on social media this week, showing slides that featured tips on how to be less white. I guess for me that would be not buying Coca-Cola ever again, including being less ignorant, because you honkies are just dumb, and less oppressive, because you dumb people are always out there to oppress everybody else. To be less white, one slide reads, let's see, listing things like be less arrogant, be less certain, be less defensive, be more humble. I like that one. Listen, believe, break with apathy, and break with white solidarity. And it goes on and on and on. What does that have to do with selling sugary, high fructose corn syrup, fizzy water? Which, by the way, the guy down in Atlanta probably didn't invent. It was probably invented and patented by a Spanish candy company and then appropriated. So no more of that. But not to be outdone, over in South Carolina, where they had the cojones to ban abortion, but not yet the federal judge, they're being pushed to enact hate crimes legislation, which is a compound crime. The underlying bad things are already illegal. Why can't we just have that? Well, 47 other states have already caved along with the feds and instituted hate crime legislation, which is aimed at you insurrectionist types. You know who you are. But who's pushing it? Well, let's see. Representatives, this is from the state out of Columbia. Representatives from Walmart, done with them, Duke Energy, don't use them, IBM, UPS, the South Carolina Realtors Association, AARP, don't send me any more mail, and the Lexington-based Nephron Pharmaceuticals, Nephron, Phylum, God, who knows, are pushing the state to join Georgia and sign hate crimes legislation. The Chamber of Commerce is behind it, along with more than 80 companies. This story, if you read it, you've got all kinds of people that don't really sound like Americans pushing this. You've got some very clever and well-worn lies about a certain violent felon, drug addict, and small-time porn star who died last summer. They just keep pushing, but not to be outdone. I'm not linking to this one because I no longer support the colleges that I went to because I don't like them. And in fact, I'm thinking about renouncing my degrees. Here's why. One of them, the big, impressive, powerful, old one, they have gone completely, utterly insane. 50, 60 years of diversity is just not enough. Literally, they say it's just not enough. This is the students and the faculty. Matter of fact, this is the faculty jumping on. Entire colleges are jumping in and pushing right past the students' onerous demands and making their own demands, such as we must push beyond conventional diversity and inclusion efforts that have yet to produce the scale of change needed to truly uproot the white supremacy woven into higher education and achieve social justice in our community. So what does pushing beyond mean? Does that mean showers and train rides and camps? How about this? How about just abandon everything that white supremacy might have brought about? Like, I don't know, educate, the higher education itself, or electricity, computers, cars, airplanes, concrete, steel. Don't have anything to do with that. Don't speak English. That's English supremacy. No more books. Just go away. Just go away. Two good colleges left, as far as I'm concerned. They're both private schools in New Hampshire. Now, not to be outdone by all these other nuts, the CPAC, the conservatives who are standing up for your rights, have proven themselves to be even more worthless than we ever imagined they could be. They're holding a conference that's themed around ending all of this cancel culture. They're going to ban the banners. No more banning from CPAC. And they elected a young rapper, an outspoken young rapper named Young Pharaoh, to headline this conference against banning and canceling. And then at the last minute, they banned and canceled him because he made some controversial statements, which they probably should have brought him in and discussed openly if they valued things like speech and discussion and intelligence. They're conservatives. They don't. It's their job just to cave in and go along with the progressives. Just 5 years behind progressives. I mean, in a decade or so, the Republicans will be pounding the podium and talking about how great it is to spit roast children in the streets. But not in Poland. Not in Poland. Poland, thank God for Central and Eastern Europe and Russia. They're serious about freedom. These are people that lived under, it's been a tenuous 1,000 years back and forth with various empires and kingdoms. They lived under Hitler and 45 years under Soviet communism. They've had enough. They do not want globalism. They are happy to leave all of this insanity in America, or England, France, or Canada, or Germany. Big news out of Germany, but I'll get to that later. In Poland, they're tired of big tech cracking down on your supremacist, neo-Nazi insurrectionist speech. New laws passed by Poland could implement massive fines for tech giants who censor users or remove posts for ideological reasons. They told Fox News that the social media companies have been targeting conservatives, real right wingers, not Republican idiots, conservatives, Christianity, and traditional values by banning them or removing posts. They're not going to allow that. There's a growing trend around the world to fine these people into compliance with civility, or else just block them, even at the IP level. So go Poland, and go Russia too. If you had told me as a small child that I'd have to go to Russia to find IP freedom, one, I wouldn't have known what you were talking about, but two, I just wouldn't have believed it. But Poland, they're serious about freedom. Just like in the USSA, we're serious about killing babies. Every year, roughly 1 million. Got a story about Planned Parenthood, which was originally known as what were they called? Something more draconian. I call them Rehash Nazi Eugenics Incorporated, because that's basically what they are. And in 2019 alone, they killed just a hair over 354,000 babies. And you know the score. They're about a third of the annual murders every year, which are protected by law. The murders are this class of murder, instead of being banned, is protected. And meanwhile, the conservatives do nothing. Largely, they've even stopped, running their hot air mouths about it. Pathetic. I'd like for people to stop killing, period. Stop killing babies. And also, this is a story I just had to throw in here. Stop killing zoo animals. I have no use whatsoever for poachers and trophy hunters. That's where the title came from today, the trophies. I got a story from the Sun about some woman whose hubby took her on a hunting trip to Africa, and she shot a giraffe. In a control, she paid. They put the giraffe right there. She shot it with a 600 nitro or whatever you shoot a giraffe with. My question would be, what does the giraffe taste like? I mean, it's one thing if you shoot the giraffe, that's a lot of meat. You can eat a giraffe. Maybe they have a Hunters for the Hungry program. Not casting stones at her, but just in general, people who, shoot, do these controlled hunts just to shoot something to take the head off or the antlers, they're just scumbags. Even if they're two attractive sisters in New Hampshire. Lions, tigers, wolves, bear. I mean, predators taste bad. Nobody eats those. You know why you do it, and it's pathetic. My hunting experience is limited to birds, small game, and deer, all of which I like to eat. Because, if you read back in Genesis, the Lord said, I give you all these animals to eat, not to mount and display and then leave the carcass to rot. Just scum. Homeschoolers, I'm running out of time. I got an article you need to read at Crisis Magazine by Casey Chalk, who warns about the big cabal, they're coming for the homeschoolers. I've seen some of these exact same people that he's writing about, and I've talked about them before. The people who have wrecked the schools are jealous that your children are really learning and are escaping their clutches, and they're coming for you. Just keep an eye out. And let's see, much more that I'll have to get to tomorrow. Hope you guys have a great Thursday. And do check out the coffee. Unless you're a poacher, then we don't need your business. Coffee, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.